Back at what happened on defense in the last game.
We just we got to do a better job coaching the guys up, getting them coached up. Then we got to execute what being coached, and that's the big part of just self, just a little bit of that.
Coach Leipold said that you guys need to be more confident in coverage. How do you go about adding that confidence and improving that for your defensive backs?
It just comes through practice. Guys just getting out there and practice, and just taking what they do in practice out to the field, just like they did in the previous games. So it's no different. I thought we've done a good job covering, up the last game. And so once again, we got to do a lot better job as coach, and I got to do a better job as a coordinator, helping those guys out. And naturally, we got to get out and execute what we're trying to do.
Lance said yesterday maybe some, I think I've got it right here, misalignments and missed assignments. Is that a case of maybe too much going on in guys' heads, or just that happens in football, or what do you think that was?
Yeah, it happens, and like I said, man, if that's the case, then we as coaches got to take care of that and make sure guys aren't confused or missed a line or anything like that. So like I said, it starts with me, and then naturally our coaches got to take care of it and get it down to the players so they can go out and execute the best they can.
Had you seen some of that in previous games, even though you maybe hadn't won them?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
But this was a game, and every week's different.
Right.
Every week's different. You got to come out every week and treat it as 0-0, and that's what we are this week. So we got to make sure we're ready for UCF because they got a great attack, and so we got to do a great job, like I said, coaching these guys up so they can go out and execute to the best of their ability. Because we've done that, and this last week was a week that we didn't. So that's unfortunate.
DK, they've talked about they don't really know what the quarterback situation is. How do you handle that in a week of preparation?
Well, you just kind of prepare for all three, and all three, have a unique skill set, which is challenging. It really is, And then you're also, dealing with a right-hander, a left-hander, different things like that. But those are things you just got to prepare for and get ready. The great thing about them is that the offense does not change with the guys that they have in. So it's not like they're running a whole different offense, like some teams do when they bring in just a guy who can run, or they just got a guy who can throw. They really run what they run. So we just got to just be prepared for what they do.
And then what do they want to do when they're doing something well?
What do they want to do? Naturally, they want to run the ball. They're really good at running the ball. Watching their game from last week against Kansas State, they did a good job of running. Those running backs are special. They both got great speed. They were running away from the defense. They do that a lot on film. And then they got, it's going to be a challenge because they got some taller wide receivers, which, we haven't faced a whole bunch of them this year. So they got 2 6'3", 6'4" guys, and so that's going to present a challenge to us. Having to defend some longer wide receivers this year. Then they got little short Jitterbug, number 7, who's a dynamic player that they tried to do a great job of getting the ball to in great situations. So Coach Frost does a heck of a job calling plays, and they got a really good team, a lot of team speed down there.
You mentioned following Coach Satterfield's career to an extent. Have you followed Scott's to any degree?
Not as much. Like I said, we had a previous relationship with Coach Satterfield because him and Coach Campbell were close friends. They worked together, so we were able to go down to Louisville and see him operate down there, different things like that. So I've known of him since that time. I can't say I've had that type of connection with Coach Frost, but he's done a great job wherever he is. I know he spent a little time in the league last year getting some of those ideas. You can see a little bit of that on film also. And so he does a great job. And those guys play hard and they play for each other, which is fun to see.
What maybe are some of those NFL ideas?
Just some, some of the screen, the bubble stuff that he has there, some of the pass concepts that you can see that I noticed from my time in the NFL and just looking and studying NFL film, you can see, those are some concepts that he probably pulled from there, which is a sign of a great coach. You got to get ideas from everywhere. I've taken ideas from high school guys, so it's all how we share and what can help the team be beneficial.
What's a high school idea that you've taken?
I can't tell you that.
When you guys play with a light box, how important is it to get run support from that back end and the safeties?
I think it's always important to get run support from the safeties. So no matter if you're packing a box or anything like that, 'cause usually if you're packing a box, you're packing it with secondary guys, and so they're just giving you support from a higher level, which is, part of defense. Sometimes you got to defend a pass, and some calls you got to defend the run, and so they got to come down and tackle, and they got to do it at a high level. But that's everybody. In today's football, you got to defend 53 and a third and 100 yards, and if you can't do that, then you're going to be in big time trouble, and the best way to do that is attack it.
How challenging is it for those safeties when you've got all these RPOs, teams that spread you out and you have so many different responsibilities and things to sort of check off your list to make a play?
Yeah, it's really tough, and that's the beauty of football now is that, it's no longer 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You know, it's now you got the RPO, you got people doing all type of things. You got linemen who are 5 yards down the field on the pass play. And so you got to do a great job, first of all, with your eyes. Your eyes are your greatest weapon, your eyes are your greatest defense. If you look right, you're going to do right. And so we try to train our guys with their eyes quite a bit and trust that. And then you got to go and back to your eyes, you got to trust what you see. You got to hit what you see, you got to see what you hit. And so we got to do a better job with that.
Blake Harold, you seen some positive momentum there, sort of from him week to week?
Yeah, the great thing about Blake is, you know, he's one of the toughest guys that, you know, I've been around. It's amazing, you know, what he fights through to get to the game every Saturday. And then when he goes out there, I mean, he makes play after play, and he plays fast, and you would never know the struggles that he goes through. And so, so proud of Blake, and just to see him out there making plays, to tackle for losses he has, the hits on quarterbacks that he has. He's really taken his game up to another level, and I'm excited to see what it looks like as he continues to get more and more healthy.
At linebacker, John's already started in place of Bengali a couple times, and he's going to probably have to do that again because of targeting. How have you seen him respond to the increased playing time that he's gotten this season?
He's done a heck of a job, you know, credit, you know, Coach Simpson and all the guys in the linebacker room, you know, because one thing about John, he's a sponge. Like, he really takes coaching. He's one of those edge of the seat guys that when you're talking, he's looking in your eye and he's on the edge of the seat. So that really pays off for him. And now the only thing he was really lacking was confidence. And I think more now he's getting out of the field and he's seeing the plays he's making and, you know, that he's able to play at this level. Now you can see that he's playing really well. So I'm excited for him to get the opportunity. We hate to have Bengali out, you know, what type of playmaker he is for us, but it's another opportunity for John to step up. And we're fortunate that he's done this before, that it's not his first time being out there on a big game on the road. And then Logan Brantley's going to have to step up for us too and be another guy to help us in the first half. So I'm excited to see him because he's been working really hard in practice.
DK, we can see Bengali's reaction to that targeting call on the sideline, obviously emotional and all that. Do you have time in that moment to go talk to him and settle him down at all, or does somebody address it with him, or is he just...
Yeah, we do. You know how it is. You got to let those guys kind of work through the emotions a little bit without being a distraction. So we let them work through that. But I talk to him about it, and it's tough. He wants to play. He's a competitor, and the rule's the rule. And it was a good call. It was, and so we got to do a better job of you know, coaching and teaching our guys how to have lower targets and different things like that without, you know, taking away, hey, we want you to play hard and fast and physical, but, you know, you also got to play legal. And so, but we did calm him down. He understood, and we even talked the other day just about, you know, the reactions, and, you know, it kind of is what it is. The rule is what the rule is right now.
How much time, maybe not on game day, of course, or even really in season, but how much time do you guys as a staff, defensive staff, think about what do we do with the targeting rule? I mean, do you talk about it a lot? How do you coach it? How do you not coach it? I mean, it's got to be a challenge everywhere.
Yeah, we talk about it quite a bit just because of the simple fact that it's so, the penalty is so high.
Yeah.
You know, that you don't want to lose a guy for a half and then the other half for another game. So when we practice, all our tackling drills we do are low. You know, the target area is always low. But, you know, it is sometimes in the heat of a game, you know, you're just going there. And so hopefully, you know, I said this before, hopefully it's something that we look at as a rules committee, that, yeah, if a guy has 2 of them in the game, maybe that's rules for, you know, room for ejection there. But 1 of them, let it be a 15, and then that's his personal foul, move on. Because I think it's really punitive to have that type of play. You know, a couple of our guys that we had, even like D dies, you know, the guy's falling and he hits him and he's out. Like, that's tough because his target area really wasn't at the guy's head. It was really at his waist, and he's falling, ends up being at his head. And now he's out for a whole half, which I think that's a very punitive rule that we have. And we got to really look at that as a rules committee. I know we want to protect guys, and I'm all for that. But for a guy to be out for 2 halves of football for something that's not malicious, I think we got to look at that as a rules committee.
So far this season, I think you guys have struggled a little bit to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down. I think you guys are second to last in the Big 12 in 4th down conversion rate. How do you, like, what have you seen from tape, and is there anything that kind of emerged pattern-wise from what opponents are doing to you guys?
Yeah, I think the big thing about getting off on 4th down is we stopped them on 3rd, but just like last game, you know, it was 3rd and 6, and they scrambled for 5, you know, and so those 4th downs that we have are not like 4th and 10 or something like that. A lot of them are 4th and 1, 4th and 2, which you don't have great outs with to begin with. So we got to do a better job on 3rd down, not giving up yards on third down and the team feels like they can go for it on fourth down. And then this day of analytics, most people are going for it on fourth down. So a lot of teams are really getting 2 second downs or something like that. So we just got to continue to work at that. We continue to look at it and coach up our guys. Like I said, we got to win third down in a negative way for the offense so we can be better forcing fourth and longs instead of fourth and 1 and 2.
You guys put Jalen Todd back at free safety some this past game. What was that conversation like, or what was the thought process behind doing that a little bit?
Yeah, it really wasn't a lot of conversation. Jay Todd's such a great guy, and he's just doing whatever he can for the team, you know. And so, just the way the season goes, and you know, throughout a game, you get some guys who get banged up a little bit throughout the game, and so you know, he was the next guy that we had to throw in there. The great thing about that is he, you know, did it last year, so it wasn't like a huge jump or leap for him, and it just gave us a guy who's physical, who can run and get in there, and we got a little depth at corner that we're able to be flexible with that.
What'd you think of what he did?
I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a great job. I think he'll only get better if he has to continue to play in there. And like I said, the great thing about Jay Todd is, man, he works like no other. You know, his maturity is off the charts, and so for him to go in there wasn't a big thing. He didn't blink. He went in there and fought and did a great job. And like I said, if we need him to continue to do that, I think he'll do it at a high level for us.
What's impressed you most about Jalen as a first-year starter?
He's done a good job. Like I said, it's been the work he put in behind the scenes. And he's been fortunate that he had a chance to play last year, you know, so he knows a little bit of what it's about and everything like that. And so, but he works hard. Like I said, his maturity is like no other. And so, a lot of this stuff, he doesn't blink at a lot of it. And if we need him to play safety, he could probably go out and play safety for us too. So just really happy, glad he's with us, and glad he's playing some great football for us too.
Anyone else for Coach McDonald? All right, thanks.